All right. It's a little bit official now.
Nah, I mean, it can be official, but I mean, we can just, as it comes, you can mix the questions anyhow. It doesn't have to follow the pattern. And, let's just,
Have fun. Yeah, let's have fun. So, hello everyone. With me today is Salim Lawal, a product management manager, AI and ML, and he's going to be dishing out a lot of wisdom to us today. And yeah, pretty much. So, welcome to the first Jeotene World webinar, first ever actually. So, you're our first guest. Um,
oh, interesting.
yeah, you're our
Happy to
first
be
guest.
here.
All right, so I would say introduce yourself. Let us know you more.
Uh, I'm I'm a man of not many words. I am Salim Lawal. I work as a product owner, as a product manager, building different technology solutions, both in the fintech. I currently do that in the true transport technology, where I use AI and machine learning to gather road transport data. Um, I love playing. I'm a Chelsea fan, even though we don't win all the time, and that's what I mean. It's part of life. You don't win all the time, so um, I love playing. Anything that makes me happy, anything fun to do. I'm a very jovial person, and I just try to do my best in everything I'm doing, honestly. So yeah, that's pretty much about me. Well, to put more details, maybe yes, I studied computer science. Yes, I did the masters in software engineering, but really all of that is just part of what we get to do in life, and that's just pretty much about me, really.
To my first question, tell us about your journey into product management. I mean, in the space of AI and machine learning, and share a little bit about how that has, changed your life. Let me hear you on that.
So my journey into product management, much more like everyone else, really actually started during the wake of COVID, and everybody's in the lockdown, and you can't go out, you're just pretty much at home. So out of boredom, I was looking for stuff to learn. Being someone that is very inquisitive and very curious about stuff, I stumbled on a what's it called? Google adverts that had to do with how to build digital product from product school. That is in San Francisco. It's an online school platform for product managers. So I stumbled on it and I took most of their micro certification, and I kind of like found it very, very interesting. And afterward, I reached out to a colleague of mine that, oh, I learned this online, and I would like to put it into practice. Can you help me out? And it just sent me a few connections, and boom, before I knew it, I was already interning as a product owner for a startup company in the UK. And I mean, that's pretty much how my career into product management and product ownership and project management started, really. But prior to then, I was a software engineer, working with a local company in Nigeria and in Ibadan. And I was pretty much just building some small software website and e-commerce platform for them, before I fully transitioned in during COVID into product management. How it has impacted my life? It's done that in very positive way. Not to talk of the financial aspect. I mean, that's the most obvious one.
Yeah, of
Everybody
course, that's
gets
very important.
everyone gets to make money, whether you're a product manager or
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it helps for me. It helps you to think. It helps you to understand how stuffs are really built from the background. A lot of the
Mhm.
time, what we see as engineers coming from an engineering background is, oh, I've been asked to do this. I've been
Mhm.
asked to code this feature, and I don't even know why. You don't even know the thought process that went into them deciding to, go with that feature to make the customers happy. So going into product management literally made me see all the internal workings that go into decision making, how companies are built, how features are built, how some features, they will tell you, oh, there are just so many features we thought of, but this is the one we went for. Those decision makings, the dreadful Monday meetings that go into no, our KPI, we are not meeting our KPI, we are not doing all these things, you know and
Yeah.
it just makes you see all of those things that are shaded from the engineers, and it was very, very interesting to see all those little it was very interesting to see all those little steps that actually builds real life product. That, I mean, the likes of Money Point and Co started with this similar approach. There's always a product manager deciding what to build and all that. So it was very interesting to see, and learned a lot doing product management, really.
Oh, interesting. It's good to know that it has been a journey, and I love the fact that you shared your background and how you started from Nigeria, from a company in Nigeria, and then you scaled from there. Not everybody would know correctly that you're in the UK, right? But I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll get there. All right, we'll get there. Okay, so I want to know, you were talking about product management, and there is project management, there is program management, and what's really the connection, and what is the difference?
So it, the way I like to explain it, so I like to put it like in a real life scenario, is when you think of project management and product management, and then maybe like program management and other stuffs, you need to think. I like to use construction. If people are very much familiar with the construction industry, maybe you're building your home, your first house.
Mhm.
There is a start date, there is an end date, and there is a start date when, oh, the people that will lay the foundation of how the house is going to look like, the architect that will follow, the bricklayer that will do all those things, they are your construction. And when the whole house is built, the management, the taking care of the home, and you've built something, you've got the whole structure in place. Now the whole management, the whole processes that go into it. Oh, today we need to add an art frame into this corner of the house. Tomorrow we need to have some pantry there. We need to do this one there. I like to put that as management, as product, you taking care of the product. But when it comes to the actual laying down the foundation from start to finish, that's the aspect of project management. So I like to say project management it starts with a beginning and has an ending. But when
Mm.
it comes to product management, there is no ending to it, unless maybe um something terrible happened, maybe a tsunami that scattered the whole house, or when it comes to software development, maybe the company got bought out and or the company went down and everyone had to leave, and then you know so that's the way I see the differentiation between product management and project management. It has, for project management, it has a start and end date. For product management, it's an endless life cycle. It's infinite. You cannot think of it as your Facebook. Facebook started with maybe a little MVP that has a start date and an end date, and then the rest is what we see today. Tomorrow they are releasing your opportunity to add likes. Next tomorrow they're adding something. And when it comes to program management, is what are the activities that are going on within the company or within the home that makes it worthy of being called a home. Your program, next time you are thinking of, oh, where are we going to have our next vacation as a family, right? Which school are the kids going to go? Where am we relocating? So those are programs that go within the house. What food are we eating today? Those are programs that go within the house. So that's, in a real world scenario, that's how I would lay it down for any and I hope everyone understands that. But
Yeah.
to me, that,
I,
that that's the perfect, that would be the perfect scenario now to explain a project, a product, and a program. Yeah.
all right. So help us with the connection. Like, what's the intersection? Like, what connects them? I think I can already have some ideas of what connect them
So
already.
what connects all of them together is the idea of something. The idea, when it comes to, I used an example of a house. So what connects them is the fact that two people or one person decides that I want to build a house and I want to live in it. And for me to be able to do that, you need a plan. You need a plan that has different phases into it. And that's where the connection comes in. A project manager comes at the beginning of a project, right? They draw up a plan on, okay, this is how long it's going to take. This is the budget. This is the things we need. They come, they interact, and then they give it out to all the executioners that needs to execute the project. They finish executing, they hand it over to whoever is going to manage the product at the end of the day. They hand it over to the product manager, and then the person keeps on managing. Of course, the product manager is also involved in the planning stage. Yeah, the program manager is also involved in the planning stage. Whoever is building a house, let's say you're married and you and your wife, you both are going to be involved in the construction, or because obviously the money is going to come from somewhere anyways. So you both are going to be involved. The two of you are the product manager, right? They are going to be living in the house. They're going to handle the management of the house. They're going to handle the program of the house. The architect, the surveyor, the bricklayers, the suppliers, those are part of the people that would, help you in executing the project. The whole house itself is an entire project on its own. What goes on within inside the house is a product of its own that is managed by the product managers, which is the couples and the offsprings that comes out of that relationship. The events that goes on within the house, where you want to take your kids, your next vacation, are the programs that are within that are in the house. So the connection is, I wouldn't say it's linear, right? But sometimes it can be linear, because in product management, it's not always linear. You think agility, you think flexibility. In project management is linear, right? There's a start date, there's an end date. You know what you want to do from start to finish. But when it comes to product management, it's not linear. Anything can happen at different phase in time. You can say, oh, December we're gonna go for Christmas party in New York, and then something happens, and then you have to cut out the Christmas party and focus on that thing. That's agility and other stuff. So it's not linear, but all of them are interwoven in a single web, and each person have a role to play. Some roles are infinite, some are within a specific time period, and some are just eternal.
Very interesting. Thank you for the analogy of the house. I think it makes everything make sense. The home with the family who, they are so concerned about the products, and because they are the ones that will continue, in the project, right? They're the one that will continue in the project. But then again, project has a time frame. It ends. It has a timeline. It always ends. It has the start time and it has the finish time. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And I really want to know, why did you choose program and not project? I mean, why did you choose product rather and not project? What was the so I want to know.
To be honest, I'm not sure I really have an answer to that.
Okay.
So it happened that I did take some courses on project management as well. There was this course I took on project management on Coursera from Google, but a lot of my learning has always been on product management, because obviously I was transitioning from the software engineering space into something software, and I was trying to learn what goes on within the development of a software. So I kind of just stumbled upon product management and just took it in. But what really led me into learning project management was, I think, What really led me into what really led me into project management was where I was working some couple of years ago. There was a need to manage a project that had a start and end date, and I was being asked to champion that idea. It was to develop a software for a client, and he had a start and end date, and I was being asked to. And to be honest, I didn't really know much about project management, all this project initiation, project elicitation, and all those stuff. I didn't really know. So I took a course on it, and again, like I said earlier, um there is that similarity between the two, and when it comes to the skill set, there are transferable skill sets between the two, right?
Mm.
The skills you use in project management, you still use some of them in product management, and some
Mm.
you use in product management, you use them in project management. So to be honest, I really didn't have I really didn't have a reason as to why I chose product man. All I knew was I want to build software, and I want to know what goes on behind the scene of every
At
product
least you
that is
knew,
out there.
you know, at least you knew exactly what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
A lot of people struggle with that actually, from understanding the differences between product management, projects management, program management, and
yeah.
also knowing where to start from actually, because that's the next question I want to ask you. You spoke about how that you took some courses and you also intend with, or you worked as a software engineer. Like, how did you start? What was the process? I mean, what certifications did you take? Is certification even important at all?
So when it comes to, I don't really have much certification. A lot of the certification I had were from product school, and they were all micro certification. I know for project management, you need to, because in an IT in the IT world, there is a lot of things that goes on in the IT industry, and for every software that is being developed out there,
Mhm.
there are lots of there are lots of things that goes on in there that are not even product related, product management related. You're talking of ITU certification, and those are just standard information technology certifications that are really, really important for any scalable digital organization out there.
Yeah.
Um, and when I was starting out, I didn't really think much about all this stuff. All I knew was I want to learn how softwares are built, not from the engineer's perspective, but from someone that is not an engineer, maybe a
Mhm.
designer and other stuff. And then I stumbled on product school. And from there, the one single course I took was how to build digital products. And that sort
Okay.
of laid the foundation of every other thing that I learned, right? That course showed me how, because the course was mostly taken by senior product leaders in San Francisco, and they just come together, put head together, and make the course, and it kind of lay down everything. What's the next step? You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And
Mhm.
for project management, again, it has, like I said, it has a start and end date, and there are few courses that you need to take, right? That are very compulsory in that field, the likes
Mhm.
of project management, IT
Professional.
foundation, Prince 2, and all those stuff. Those are actually very important for project managers, because in project management, you have a lot of things to think about. You have to think about your change management. You have to think about a whole lot of stuff that can go wrong when executing a project. Now, those skills are also transferable into product management, right? But for product management, I wouldn't say they are necessary. They are added advantage, and they help you to actually build your skills, right? And that was sort of the path I took. A lot of my certifications are from product schools, I don't have to be honest, I don't have ITU, I don't have Prince 2, I don't have PMP, I don't have all of these big certifications. I hope to have them one day, but I'm not really, I don't think, for me, I don't think they are a yardstick of what someone is capable of doing. You can't really know. People can take certifications and still do nonsense, right?
Absolutely.
So I don't
Absolutely.
use that as a judgment of, or as a yardstick of what someone's capability is. Your real capability, your real skills really shows why you're on the job, right? And that's the way I view it.
Okay. So a quick one in Jeotene World, which is the company we are, representing today. Jeotene World, it's a UK company, and we provide these courses that you just mentioned, um, to help to help any beginner or people that are already in the field get certified in, this PMP, Scrum, Agile, and all that. Also, like you said, you could take the courses, have the certification on your profile, and you don't know anything. So
Yeah,
also
they are
Mhm.
added advantage. I'm not saying they are not good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
of
are
course.
they are added advantage. If you have them, it's like it's like when people say, "Oh, first class is not important," right?
Mm,
But bro, if you have a first class, it gives you an edge, really. So having
yes.
those certifications gives you an edge.
Hmm.
And I would really encourage people to have them. But at the
Yeah.
same time, make sure that when you're learning, you actually get something out of it, because there's really no point learning something and not getting something out of it. So they are really good. Like I said, a lot of the course I took on, the certification I took on product school, really helped me to actually get to where I am,
Mm.
right? um how to build digital product analytics. They all, when people see it, they will be like, oh, they will, that's when they will say, okay, let's call this person for an interview. At least he's got something, he's got an
Yeah.
idea of why we want to
Mm.
hire this person. So they are all an added advantage, and I would really encourage people to actually take them if they have the opportunity to.
Yeah, thank you. Also, I wanted to add to that, like we provide mentorship programs as well. I think it's a bad idea to help someone get a certification, by offering
Yeah,
them programs where they study online and leave them after getting certified without,
yeah,
hands-on industry experience, So
yeah,
we provided like a mentorship program, hands-on. We link you with companies who would, train you, something like an internship after. It's like a 3 months, um, 3 months, what's it called now?
program.
Program. Yeah. So I think that's an added advantage to anyone who is willing to, transition into project
Yeah.
management, product management, program management, and whatnot. I also want to ask another question. Where should a beginner start from? Where?
So for me, I would say I wish I had when I was starting out, I wish I had someone to sort of like, hold my hand and guide me
Mm,
through the whole process, because it makes life easier. When I started, there was no one holding my hand. It was just me being curious and me you know um me being curious and me just going with whatever I see online and then learning them, being a sponge and as absorbing as many knowledge as I can. But
mm,
if there is a program, I used to say that if you want to learn something, find someone in the space I mean, find someone in the space where you actually want to grow and speak to them, or
mm,
find a mentorship place, and then they can guide you on how to start. And when you finish, they can guide you and connect you. Connection is very important these days. I'm not gonna lie, and it's very important, and it's good if you have a place where they are offering you this stuff.
mm.
Just key into it and then start from there. But if you don't have any of this, the first place to start is number one, the worldwide known Google.
Of
Just
course.
Google it. Or if you cannot Google, go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT will teach you something, and then you can know where to continue from there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a very good insight. Guys, mentorship is important. That's what he's trying to tell you. Someone that can hold your hand from the start to the finish point, and even after the programs you are instructed to take. Or so, can you typically, like, can you walk us through like your typical day, how your day is like as a product manager? How is it like?
Uh, my typical day in the office, I resume around 8:30 a.m. in the morning. I close
Mm,
around 4:30. The first 30 minutes between 8:30 to 9 is when I enter the office. Not really more of a not much of a ritual is I just pray. First thing first, I pray that God, please, any stress that is gonna happen today, just take it out of the way. Right. I pray and I literally just list out every task that I need to get done that day. I look at my calendar and see what meetings am I having, or what meetings am I gonna be removing from my calendar. Because as a product manager, it's easy to get soaked in endless meetings that have no real impact.
mm,
And so I'm always looking for what meetings am I cutting out of my calendar,
mm,
adjusting my, to dos, because you need to understand as a person where your energy level. We all have 8 hours in a day to go to work, and during this period, our energy goes from like this and then downward.
yeah.
So you need to keep putting tasks that you want to do in that day during your high energy period, and then put your low tasking when you're having your low energy. Because yes, from me, once it's 2 p.m. downward, I'm I'm already exhausted, right? So I do most of my so first thing first in the morning, I plan all my activities within 30 minutes, what I need to do. If I need to attend meeting, maybe stand-up ceremonies, product meeting, or maybe I'm doing, requirements gathering and all those stuff. So my typical day is pray, list out my task, and then execute my task based on how I have listed them, and then rinse and repeat. Okay, when I come back, I actually watch some movies anyways, just to relax and cool down, and then continue the cycle the next day.
Mm, interesting. So I wanted to actually know, you were mentioning like you basically outline what you need to do in the morning, very early in the morning, in the day, like you outline them out at
Yeah.
first, but then how do you prioritize when it's urgent, like when things are like everything, like you have meetings, you've got deadlines, you've got like some reports to submit. How do you manage the stress?
So there is this framework I usually do, and it's really helped me, prioritize things. And it's a framework I learned from one of my mentor on how to optimize and get the best out of yourself in your day-to-day activity and at work. Is the LNO framework. And the idea is that you've got this bunch and list of tasks that you need to get done, and for you to really effectively do them, you need to sort of like put them um into different categories, which is the leverage, neutral, and overhead. And the idea for that is that there are some, you can say you have 100 of tasks that you need to do where you work, but
Mm,
believe you me, not all those 100 of tasks are going to be a very high impactful. They're not going to be that much. They won't have that much impact on the grand scheme of things, right?
mm,
Say for instance, you want to submit something like a bi-weekly report. Say every 2 weeks, you're supposed to submit a report of all the activities you've done.
mm.
that activity doesn't really have that much impact. It doesn't really have much impact on the business. It's not going to bring money for the business, right? It's, for me, I'll class it as an overhead task. It's just something you have to do. But the result is it's only telling someone, oh, this is what you did during the space of 2 weeks, right?
Mm.
So that those kind of activities, you have to sort of like look at those activities that you've got and think of, okay, which of these has a high impact on the organization. Maybe
Mm.
it could be researching, doing customer research or competitive research or market survey. It could be writing requirement documents. It could be attending meetings. It could be the biweekly reports. It could be doing something around crafting documentation or something. So list them out and look at the ones that are going to have an impact on the business, and then put them in this category: your L task, your neutral task, and then your overhead task. For me, a leverage task could be writing a user story. I know that if I don't write that user story, the feature the engineers are supposed to be delivered is going to be delayed over a long period of time. And if it's not delivered, a business is going to lose a certain amount of money. So those are leverage activities. So you want to do your leverage activities when your energy is actually very high, right?
Mm.
Um, people vary. Some people have their energy at maybe 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's when
Yeah.
they are very hyper. Some people
Mm.
have their energy in the morning. Some people have the energy. So you just have to figure out what your energy periods are, and then do your leverage task during your high energy period.
Yeah.
Your neutral task is literally any task that the impact is average, right?
Mm.
If you do it, if you don't do it, the
Doesn't really
impact,
make.
it doesn't it does make a difference, but the difference it makes is not that much. So an
Okay.
example would be sending an email or something to maybe a supplier, or chasing a supplier on
Mm.
something. It does
Mm.
have an impact because the supplier is meant to deliver something to you that is going to affect your leverage activity, right? So you're building a let's say you're building an hardware solution. You've written your user story, but your user story is not completed until your supplier delivers a component for your hardware, and you need to
Mm.
send an email to the supplier to remind them not to forget the delivery they are supposed to make, right? It's a
Okay.
neutral task, right? It has an impact, but the impact is not that much compared to you writing the user story that would impact how much money the business is going to make. And then your
Absolutely.
overhead task is something that, whether you do it or you don't do it,
Does.
it doesn't do anything. It's just like your
Yeah.
biweekly reports. It's just, if you don't do it that day, you can do it the next day, right? So those are
Yeah.
like your overhead tasks, and that's pretty much how I prioritize my day and my task. And yeah, it's not easy to implement. There are days I don't even do it at all. I just go with the flow.
Absolutely. Of course. So
But
I think.
I try as much as possible that at least 98% of the time I follow that approach. And interestingly, myself and my manager do that kind of stuff where he looks at my all my task. Maybe he looks at it and maybe he wants to chip in something. But the moment he sees it that I want this task is packed, there is no need to add any more things to it. So that sometimes saves me a lot of stuff. But yeah, like for
Yeah.
me, that would be the perfect way for anyone to get anything done as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I think personally, I've learned something today about the LNO framework. I didn't know about it before. Trust me, I didn't. So I think this is one of my take homes. LNO, leverage, neutral, and overhead, right?
Yeah.
So it's very good to. I'll also take a look into it to like try and understand more, and probably apply it to
Yeah,
my daily.
it's a very interesting way to. I even wonder why it's not in ways to prioritize features in in product management. But yeah, it's a very interesting way to get things done.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, well done. So I want to ask another question, which goes to which is about how you can transition. What's your advice? What advice will you give? I mean, I've taken the course, I've gotten certified. I'm even in a mentorship, whatnot now, and I really want to get a job in project management or product management. Like, what would your advice be? You know, what would you tell them to do first?
Um, in a simple, what's it called? Apply to jobs. Yeah, just apply. Apply to jobs, LinkedIn, Indeed. But there is one really approach that really stands out to most people is reach out to people who are already in the field. When I started out, what I did, like I mentioned earlier, was I reached out to a former boss. You and I both know the person
Mm,
back in Nigeria. And because I told him that I now have the skill set, right?
mm,
It's now registered in his mind that if he sees an opportunity relating to that thing
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
somebody needs it, my name pops up in his head that, oh, I think this guy can do it. So
Mm-hmm.
let people know what you can do. Number one, let people know what you can do. And when they see opportunity that they think you can, that you fit in, they can offer that. That was how I actually got my first internship. I told someone that, oh, and I have the skill set. And when it was on Facebook, he saw an ad for an internship for a product owner. And then he sent the ad to me. Trust me, I didn't even know there is such thing on Facebook. So he sent the ad to me. I applied, I interviewed, and I got the internship. And
Wow.
I ended up working with the company for roughly 4 years.
Wow.
So let people know what you can do so that they can speak for you when you're not there and they can recommend stuff for you. Apply, do boot camps, and in the boot camp, look at what they can offer you. Maybe they can offer you placement and other stuff. And that
Mm,
can really, really help you kickstart your career in the space.
mm. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Um, let people know what you can do. Put yourself out there and make
Yeah.
sure you leverage connections. That's a good advice. So the next question I want to ask you is that, okay, now in this AI, I'm glad that you are a AI ML product manager. All right. So I think this question will really resonate with you. So now that AI is like a big deal now, a lot of people are talking about automation in their projects and their work, and a lot of people are being fired for that. You know, so for example, Microsoft just fired like 3% of their employees, and that's like 7,000 people. You can imagine how crazy that is, right? So,
Yeah.
and it's rightly because they are saying that AI can now automate what they're trying to get done, their goals. AI can now start getting that done. So now my question is, talking about longevity and relevance in the industry, would you say that going into this space like project management and program management is like a good advice for people who already know that AI can now automate a lot of projects too, you know? So,
So
yeah.
yes, AI can automate a lot of stuff. AI can write code. People can also vibe code. People can vibe design. People can vibe projects. People can vibe products. And it really takes us, to me, it really takes us back to the whole essence of life, which is it's now about people who can actually think,
Mm,
right? Obviously there is someone who is prompting the AI to do what it's been asked to do, and if you've got no idea on what you want it to do, it's not going to do anything for you.
mm,
So project, product, program, it's here to stay. It's not leaving, regardless of whether there is a PM agent out there. Even if there is, of course, it would reduce overhead costs for organizations in the sense that they can have one product manager to several AI agents,
Mm.
but it doesn't mean there is nothing like product manager. It's just that it reduce the amount of openings available in that space. In fact, I have seen on Y Combinator where they are hiring for AI agents.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
AI agents that would do the work of a salesperson.
Mm.
But can the agent really do the work of a salesperson? Can the AI agent be really empathetically convince someone to do
Mm.
something? It now takes us back to human interactions, right? AI agents cannot interact the way you and I are interacting, cannot convince you to do it. So it really boils down now to real human interactions, to be honest.
Mm.
Regardless, the skill set, product, project, they're actually here to stay. I am not really bothered about it that much. I'm not really bothered about it that much.
Mm.
You just have to make sure that when you're learning, don't make the mistake of leaving all your thinking to an AI to do for you, because then it makes you very redundant.
Yeah.
Um, I use AI at work as well, but I don't leave my thinking to it, right?
Mm.
Because it's just garbage in, garbage out for an AI. If it's got the data set to think, it's got it, and if it doesn't have it, it doesn't have it. So you have to
Mm.
be very good at critical thinking to really survive, right? And that's
Mm.
pretty much what the workforce really rewards back in those days, and we're pretty much just going back to it right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
rewarding critical thinking.
Yeah. So I mean, the workforce is shifting to not just anybody who can operate something, but people who can also administrate,
Mm-hmm.
which projects and product managers, people that can manage. So we will need
Things,
more
yeah.
who can actually manage a project, manage a product, and whatnot. As to people who can code, I mean, yeah, we need people who
I
can
mean,
code because
people they will it's interestingly, I don't even think it's going to replace that much people. It's just what is actually happening. What I really think is happening is people, organizations overhire, right? And
yeah.
they're pretty much just letting go what they've overhired, really.
Mhm, mhm,
You would see a startup company hiring 300 or 200 people when
mm.
in real life they don't need more than 100,
Yeah.
and the remaining 200 are just there to fill in the gaps or to ramp up the company's expenditure and reduce tax for some companies. And okay, don't
Mhm.
let me say too much before I get.
I mean, I saw a company recently online. I've forgotten which company exactly, but the founder was saying like now AI automates 50% of their work, and I'm like 50%. That's a lot.
Yeah,
So
it's a whole lot.
which means 50% of the workforce will get fired, right?
Yeah, sadly,
So
sadly.
I mean, that's a lot. So I think we need managers, people who can manage these things and try as much as possible to also integrate artificial intelligence or tech into your own particular niche as well.
Yeah,
Because some people are just neglecting the fact that the world is changing and AI is growing, ML is growing, and we need to
yeah.
involved actually. So I think that's the word for it. Get involved in what is going on. Don't
Hmm.
just follow the trend, but actively try to know, what is going on. I think that's a good advice, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
The next question, you spoke about framework for to manage the when the work is getting cumbersome. You spoke about LNO framework. Um, but then again, how do you like they say some people now say work-life balance. and soft skill. Now, you've spoken about the technical part of product management, project management. Now, if I'm in a workspace and I don't know how to talk, that's a problem,
Yeah.
right? So what are the must-have soft skills that you think would set you apart and also would keep your job for you, basically? Yeah.
When it comes to soft skills that helps you stay on the job and keeps you alive, I used to think I would say communication is a no-brainer, but
Mm,
not just communication, but structured communication.
mm,
Execution, not just execution, but structured execution, because they are two different things. Um, we are
mm,
both communicating as we're speaking, but if the person you're talking to cannot pick out what you're saying, they can't
mm.
relate to it, they can't put a meaning to it, you're just yapping.
Yeah.
It's not communication. So people need
Yeah.
to get good at structured communication. And
Mm,
structured communication is about, take for instance, you're reporting to your manager about the progress of a task you're working on, and it's about, this is where this is what I'm doing,
mm,
this is where I am,
mm,
this is where I get stuck, and this is where I need help, right?
mm. Yeah.
You're already giving your manager or any senior leader that, okay, this is the state of the project, this is where you need help, and they
Yeah.
can now decide how they're going to help you, where they need to
Mm,
help you, right?
mm,
So people need to get good at structured communication and execution. And when it comes to execution, right, you need a combination of your project management skills. Now it's
mm.
taking us back to project management, because
That's
execution is all about, for you to execute something effectively, it needs to follow a plan, it needs to follow a process. And that's where your project management skills comes in. Communication again comes in execution,
mm,
right? Communication
mhm,
alone, as it stands, is a skill set on its own that can stand alone. But
mhm.
then it can also come in as a skill under several other skill sets.
Yeah.
So communication under execution is, you're executing a project or an idea. You need to be able to communicate effectively about that project, that idea you're working on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So those two skill sets are actually very important. One other
Mm,
skill set I will say is critical thinking,
mm,
right? And critical thinking in the sense that um, you're actively thinking how to implement something, how best to approach it, how you're gonna go about it. Everything that has to do with critical and execution of a particular project. Take for instance, you're solving a problem, you're writing code. Critical thinking comes at that point where you're deciding, should I use a for loop here? Should I lose something else here? Or should I, how best should I do this calculation? Should I leave it for the front end to do, or should I leave it for the back end person to do? So you have to think about it very well when it comes to the skill sets you need to actually survive: execution, communication, critical thinking, and empathy.
yeah.
Empathy goes a very long way.
Mm,
Empathy comes in various form: empathy for your customer, empathy for your colleague, empathy for the, I don't know if there's empathy for the future you're working on, but I would say empathy for the future you're working on, because if you're not empathetic about it, then I don't know. But yeah, I would say those are the four main skills, soft skills you actually really need.
yeah.
As whether you are a software engineer or a product manager, a project manager, you cannot do without those ones. It's in it. You just have to have them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I totally agree with you. For someone listening to you right now and they are thinking to themselves, "Oh, I'm not technical enough." This, like, let me say, like something like an imposter syndrome. I'm sure you felt it. I felt it. You have gone through imposter syndrome like every time, almost every time. But then I show up. I try as much as possible to navigate that those period. But then again, like for someone who is listening right now, and they are thinking to themselves, "I'm not technical enough. I don't think I'm enough. I don't think I know enough to apply for jobs, or I don't think I'm enough to ask for a promotion at work or whatnot." What would you tell them?
So, speaking of imposter syndrome, I like to think that imposter syndrome is as a result of ignorance.
Mm.
You think you don't know enough, then learn something about what you don't know enough so that you can get out of it. Um,
Well, okay, what if they actually know enough? Like, but they are just,
they're just scared.
yeah, and that scary part is just keeping them, I'm not enough. Like,
For me,
okay.
when I'm scared about something, the first thing that comes to my mind is what happens if I don't do it, and what happens if I don't do it. What
Like the
happens?
narrow.
I read a tweet one day that said about someone wanting to do a PhD and the person is scared about doing the PhD. And the idea is the person is 32 years old or 33, PhD is going to take 4 years, right? And person
Mm.
is just scared of whether to do it or not. And someone said, whether you do the PhD now, right? If, let's say the person is, I don't know the person's exact age, but let's say the person is 33 years old.
Mm.
Whether you do the PhD now, in 4 years' time, you'll be 37. So in 4 years' time, you'll still be 37, whether you do the PhD or you don't do it.
Of course.
So why not just do it?
That's a really good answer.
Yeah. Whether you do it or not, what you're afraid of will still be will
Mm.
still be there, right?
Yeah.
So the best way to conquer fear is to do that thing which you're scared of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if it's like the PhD I mentioned, in by the time you're 37 years old, you are either a 37 years old with a PhD degree or a 37-year-old without a PhD degree.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or you are either a 35 years old with a master's degree, or either ways you'll be 35 or you'll be
Maybe
37. So you define what you want your 37 to mean to be.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
people are always going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I've always known that back of my mind. People, whether you do an example is I used to be scared of talking publicly,
Mm.
right? And not until the past 3 years did I start actually actively talking publicly. 5 years ago, if you reached out to me, I'll just say, "No, I'm not interested." People are
Yeah.
gonna talk and abuse me for whatever I'm gonna say. "No, I'm not interested." But now I'm like, people are still going to talk, whether I talk publicly or I don't talk publicly. So why not
Yeah.
just talk publicly and let me give them what to actually talk about?
Exactly. Like,
So that's the way I see it. And if it is imposter syndrome, maybe you're thinking you're not technical enough, then get technical. Pick
mm-hmm.
books, read, um, watch YouTube tutorials, um, watch anything to make you technical. Reach out to a technical mentor to guide you. Um, watch YouTube videos about, read technical journals on how some things are technically built. Where I work, it was I started working with them last year, and it was my first time working on an AI and machine learning product. I have never worked on an AI and machine learning product before. So I had a lot of imposter syndrome of can I, and it's not a space I am familiar with. Let's say you are building normal fintech products, normal e-commerce product, normal logistic app products. But this space is more of a highly data intensive product where you are gathering raw data
Yeah.
and you're using different tools, you're using sensor, you're using radar, you're using computer vision to get out all those kind. I have never done all those kind of things before in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what is a LiDAR. I don't know what a radar was. I don't know what a weighing motion was.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on between an ML pipeline to classify and count object on the road. I didn't know anything about that industry.
Wow.
But the first thing I did when I got onto the job was I had a conversation with my manager. I am new in this space, and this is my goal. For the first 1 year, I am learning about this space. No rush.
That's a good
And
disclaimer.
it's really I cannot stress myself because and and there were so many terminologies in the industry that I was not familiar with. So I needed time. So my first 90 days on the job was about me learning about the industry, about the terminology, about how things. And believe you me, I'm still learning. What
Yeah, of
actually
course.
gave me comfort was my manager told him it took him roughly 6 to 7 years to actually get solid in that industry.
Oh,
That sort of gave me some confidence, right? And there I was not able to, pick things gradually and gradually and gradually. So that's the best way. Give yourself time. If you're new on a particular job and you're scared, just give your time. Your first 90 days on the job is really important to learn about the industry. You cannot learn the industry completely. You can just learn maybe up to 30 to 40% on the job, and then you can get out of your imposter syndrome.
yeah. So thank you very much. Your answer was very apt. Um, Basically, what you're saying is just do it. Like
Yeah,
Nike's tag,
just
like
do it
just
like Nike.
just
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Get it done. So I think I've also been able to overcome imposter syndrome by just doing it. And I feel like you cannot be too prepared. Keep on preparing, like you said, pick up a book, read, learn in your
Mhm.
first 90 days of the job. Try as much as possible to keep on learning. I love the fact that you said that I'm still learning. Like a lot of people think, oh, if you are in this position already, that means you already know it all. Man, that's
No.
not true, man. Very not
It's not
true, right?
true.
So for me, I've got like books. I keep reading. Yesterday, I sat myself down. I watched like I think 2 hours each, two YouTube videos, just in my own personal niche. Like I just had to learn more and to know more because it's very good to keep on learning.
Learning is eternal, and there's this quote I used to say to most people is seek knowledge even if it takes you to the depth of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's so profound that it's just, and another way to interpret it is seek knowledge until you die, because that's
Mm.
actually when you stop learning something. So just keep
Interesting.
learning. There are some
Yeah.
things that you're gonna be taught maybe in school that you might not really be able to relate to, but until you
Mm.
actually get on a job that you start, I wish I learned this thing. I used to regret that thing. I wish I took hardware
Yeah.
seriously back in undergraduate days,
Oh,
because now I need it, and I'm having to now attend conferences to understand some stuff.
that happened to me too. I was working on a project. I'm just going to share it here. I was working on a project. It was related to computer vision, actually. And it was quite crazy. Computer vision is something else. Absolutely. I never knew I would dabble into it at some point. Anomaly detection in network security. and we had to use
Yeah.
computer vision to categorize and identify patterns as well. So it was insane, and I just had to go back to my books, and I was like, oh, I did this in undergrad. I don't know. I did. I had to go back. Anyway, I want to know, where do you get your information from? Because in the industry you have to keep updated, like the new trends, what's going on, what is new, what's the new
Yeah.
concept. So where exactly do you keep updated from?
It depends. If it's about product management and other stuff, right? I have a few places I get my information from, which is there is one particular podcast I listen to, Lenny's podcast, Shreya Doshi's podcast, um, Subtask newsletters, and other stuff. But when it comes to my own on the job information, I just look for conferences pertaining to that industry
Mhm.
and try to attend some of them, um, and then subscribe to their newsletters. Google
Yeah.
Scholar, but I thought I was done with Google Scholar when I finished my master's degree, actually.
You're not
But
done.
every time I'm being asked to work on a feature in the office, I'm always back on Google Scholar to look at the
Research.
best
Yeah,
research
basic.
on how to implement it. I thought I was done with that thing, man, but
Yeah,
it is what it is. We have to
it
keep
is,
learning.
man.
So that's
It
pretty
is.
much where I get most of my update from. Newsletters, YouTube channel, Twitter is one space. Even though there is, I don't like going there because of the nonsense that people used to used to
Yeah,
post there. But
yeah.
yeah, but Twitter is one space, but for specific and niched people, there's
Mhm.
just some few people in the industry that I'm interested in that I follow. So when they post something relatable, I go and read them, and yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Thank you very much. So, if someone is listening to you right now and they would like to reach out to you, maybe for a project, maybe they want to try and reach out to you for consultation or to ask you some questions, how can they reach you?
Uh, Very much LinkedIn, really. Um, I just started actively posting on LinkedIn, but I think I've died down a little bit. But best place to reach out is just LinkedIn, and then we can pick it up from there. And if God leads us to building a $1 billion like money points, never can tell.
Let's get it done. Okay. Thank you for being our first guest on
Thank
Jeotene World
you.
webinar program. We'll be hosting this regularly, almost every week.
Thank
So,
you for
probably by
having
week.
me.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you for
Thank
bringing
you.
in this love and support. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Have a great day, everyone. Thank
You
you for
too.